Let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let us take the darshan of the Lord. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Nita Chaitanya ki jai, Parshuram Bhagwan ki jai, Vamadev ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today's verse is very interesting. This is verse number coming from the chapter number 10. And the theme for today is Krishna is the source of everything. Okay? So Krishna is the source of everything. So we are trying to understand this theme. So we have completed one cycle of Bhagavad-gītā, 700 slokas completed 2 times. Right now what we are doing is we are going in a thematic way that we go theme by theme, and right now the theme that we are covering is Krishna is the source of everything and everyone. Okay, so as a part of that we have a very important verse for today, that is Bhagavad-gītā 10.8, very powerful verse. Okay, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha samanvitaha. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. This is also called as the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. So the entire Bhagavad Gita summarized in 4 verses starting from 10.8, 10.9, 10.10 and 10.11. If possible, we should be actually memorizing these 4 verses. There's a lot of meaning to each of these verses. And then after listening to these 4 verses, Arjuna completely was convinced about the position of Lord Krishna. So there's a very importance and great significance for these slokas. Okay, so let us try to explore what this says. So aham, I, sarvasya, of all, prabhavaha, the source of generation. That's what prabhaha means. Mattaha, from me, sarvam, everything. Pravartate, emanates. Iti, thus, matva, knowing, bhajante, become devoted, mam, unto me, buddhaha, the Lord, bhava samanvitaha, with great attention. Okay, so this purport is very, very wonderful, and we'll go through the purport and we'll try to understand what this shloka actually means. So the first thing that we have to understand is when Krishna says this sentence, it's very powerful because he's saying aham sarvasya prabhavo. Prabhava here means source of generation. He's saying that I am the source of generation for everything. The word sarva indicates everything that we can imagine and that we cannot imagine, everything that exists. So what is it that exists? It is the material world and the spiritual world. There are 2 things, right? Material world and the spiritual world. So let us try to estimate the size of the material world first, and then we'll go to the spiritual world. So right now, whatever house that you're staying, there are so many other living entities like the mosquitoes and ants, the lizards, and all the various living entities within our body, etc., etc., etc. Maybe the plants. And just imagine, the apartment that you're staying. There are many more living entities, isn't it? And if you imagine the locality that you're staying, there are many more people. If you zoom out a little bit, the city where you're staying has crores of people staying there, right? Crores of people. And then the state has many more crores of people. And a country has billions of people. And the entire world is a lot of billions of people. But if we count all the living entities, it will run into much bigger numbers. And that's only in the Earth planet. If we count all the planets which we do not know where all life is there, so if we count all of them, all the planetary systems, there are many, many, many more. That is one material universe. This material universe, the lifespan of this material universe is as much as that of Lord Brahma, who is called Chaturmukha Brahma. That is four-faced Lord Brahma. And it is said that our material world is the smallest one. There are much bigger ones. And Chaturmukha Brahma is the creator for this small universe. And this small universe, the lifespan of it is 311 trillion years and 40 billion years. We cannot imagine how big that is, right? And that is just one breath for Lord Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, that is the three incarnations, Purusha incarnations, Purusha avatars, also called as the Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. So when he inhales and exhales, all the universes are emanated when he exhales, and all of them go back once he finishes his inhalation. You can imagine what is the size of Mahavishnu and what is the span of Mahavishnu if he is taking one breath. It is equal to 311 trillion years and 40 billion years. It is beyond our imagination also, isn't it? So this Mahavishnu is the incarnation who is coming from Krishna. Not even directly from Krishna. Krishna to Balaram, Balaram to the Chaturvyuha, Chaturvyuha to another Chaturvyuha, and from that Chaturvyuha, Lord Mahavishnu is coming. So we cannot even imagine how great Krishna is. So therefore, we have to understand as it is, from whatever this perfect scripture is there, Bhagavad-gītā, there are no mistakes. It's a perfect scripture. It's actually given by Lord Krishna himself, spoken by Krishna himself, and explained by the Acharyas, starting from Vyasadeva in the Guru Parampara. So we just have to take it as it is. And if we actually understand it, take it, the result is also explained here. Okay, the person who is very intelligent, who understands this, Buddha means intelligent. Buddha means very learned. To understand the position of Krishna consciousness, we must be very learned. We must be very intelligent. It's actually very simple. We just have to accept the authority. So when we repeat whatever the authority says, we naturally become very learned. We don't have to speculate. That is the thing about Krishna consciousness. This is not a sentimental kind of a sect. Or neither is it a sect. It's not sectarian at all. We are talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is himself declaring who he is. If you want to understand the position of Lord Krishna, you have to read the Bhagavad-gītā. And particularly this verse very clearly establishes the supreme position of Lord Krishna. Let us try to explore the purport. It says that a learned scholar who has studied the Vedas, who has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply these teachings, can understand that Krishna is the origin in both material and spiritual worlds. So we were talking about the material worlds, and we said that the universe that we are staying is the smallest one. It's the smallest one. They're much bigger than our universe. And we only spoke about the material worlds, right? Beyond these material worlds, Mahat Tattva, there is a spiritual sky. And in the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets called Vaikuntha planets. And it is said that the spiritual sky and the spiritual planets constitute of majority of 3/4 of the creation. And we are staying only in the 1/4 of the creation. The material world is only 1/4. The spiritual world is 3/4. So you can imagine how many people are there. So the majority of the people who are Krishna conscious. Minority are those people who are in the material world. And the reason why they are here is because they have forgotten Krishna. So if you combine this material world and the spiritual worlds, it is unimaginably big. And Krishna is saying, I am the source for even the material world and the spiritual worlds as well, which is the 3/4. 1/4 material, 3/4 spiritual. Everything is emanating from Krishna only. But then we can ask, why is it that we do not know this information? Or why is it that we are not able to accept this? Mohajala samavritaha. Mohajala samavritaha means we are caught by the web of illusion, which is again called Krishna Maya. It is by the will of Krishna that we become deluded. So until Krishna decides that, yes, I shall give knowledge to this person, we'll continue to be in that illusion. So that is the point. Okay. Let's see. Let's continue this purport. It says, one who knows this perfectly becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. That is an important point. See, the purpose of us reading Bhagavad Gita repeatedly, what is the purpose of this? The purpose is that first we become convinced, right? Prabhupada said, first you learn and you do and then you teach. As simple as that. You learn and then you teach it to others. First thing is we have to learn. First thing is we have to accept. And first thing is we have to realize. And then we just have to simply repeat. Teaching is very easy because you are not creating anything. You are not speculating anything. When you go to a kindergarten class, the teacher teaches alphabet A to Z, 26 alphabets. So it's not that, the teacher will start creating a new alphabet, alpha, beta, theta. No. It's A, B, C, D. Whatever is that teacher has learned from, her teacher. She's telling that. That's it. This is the same thing that we have to do. You have to simply accept it and explain the same thing, repeat the same thing. And anybody who understands this simple truth, we become firmly fixed in the devotional service. So the proof that we have understood Bhagavad Gita can be understood from our service. So the one who has completely understood the Bhagavad Gita, he cannot stay without serving the Supreme Lord. Because as soon as we know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and there is nothing else that matters, then I will no longer be motivated to serve anything else or anybody else. Is it not? So here there is an interesting comment. Prabhupada is saying, a person who understands this, following the authorities like Lord Chaitanya, understands that Krishna is the origin of the source of everything in both material worlds and spiritual worlds, he never gets deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. In fact, there are a lot of nonsensical commentaries written by fools. So, why is it so heavy? It's a very heavy sentence, okay? It's very heavy, but it's a fact. Why are we calling them fools? In fact, we are not calling them fools. It's Krishna who is calling them fools. And he's saying the people who are understanding that Krishna is the Supreme is wise. The definition of wise, you have to take it from God. We should not create the definition. We cannot speculate. The definition of wise is the one who understands this simple truth very clearly, that Krishna is the source of spiritual and material worlds. Right? And that is also given. The fool is It is said that a fool is one who thinks that Krishna was impersonal before and is now become personal. Krishna says that fellow is a fool. If anybody says, oh, Krishna is actually impersonal, is not a person, then that person is an official fool. As per Bhagavad Gita, as per Krishna, it's Krishna's definition. And then a fool is one who does not surrender to Krishna. It says, Mano duskritino muda prapadyante aradama maya paratajnana asuram bhavamasritaha. One day, Srila Prabhupada was explaining this in India, this sloka. He said, anybody who doesn't surrender to Krishna is a fool, as per Bhagavad Gita. He's a fool. Then somebody stood up and said, how can you say that? How can you say that people who are not worshipping Krishna are fools? Then Prabhupada immediately said, it is not me who is saying it. It is Krishna who is saying it. That those who do not surrender to him, those who do not understand his supremacy are fools. Krishna is saying the demigod worshippers are less intelligent. It's Krishna's words. He's saying, Kamai saiste hritagnyana yajanti hi anna devata. So, hritagnyana, kamai saiste, they are very lusty. Those people who are worshipping the demigods, they have excessive lust. That means they have excessive desire. That's the reason why they are worshipping demigods. That's Krishna's version. And hritagnyana, that means they have absolutely no knowledge or intelligence. They're like fools, sentimental, brainless. It's Krishna's version, right? And Krishna is also saying, the Vedic scholars who are very much attached to the Vedas, flowery words of the Vedas, Karmakanda, he says they don't have intelligence at all. Krishna is calling the Vedic scholars are also as fools. So it is not us we are saying. See, our position is we have to repeat whatever Krishna is saying. We should not water it down. See, it's like there is milk, okay, coming from the cow, and then at the source, the milkman takes some milk and adds a liter of water to the milk. And then it is given to the distributor. Distributor adds another liter of water. And the distributor brings it to the shop. One person adds one more liter of water. So, are you having milk right now? Is that milk? What do you think? What is it? Is that correct? Hare Krishna. Would you like such milk? Which is diluted at multiple levels? Hare Krishna. Can anybody unmute and say?
No, Prabhuji.
So nobody likes to drink diluted milk, which is diluted at multiple levels, or contaminated. Let us say there's a milk that is coming from the cow, okay, and at the source somebody adds some urea, right, and then gives to the distributor. Distributor adds some more chemicals, white color chemical, and then it comes to the shop, and the shop person adds some more chemicals. Would you like to drink that chemical milk? Yes, no. How many of you would like that? Is there anybody who likes that? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
No. So that means whatever comes from the source, it should be authentic and it should be repeated as it is. It does not matter whether it is palatable for us or not. So some things may not be palatable, whatever Krishna says. Krishna doesn't have to say what is palatable to me. He's not trying to entertain us. Please try to understand. This is not an entertainment class, Bhagavad Gita. That, for example, we see some shots in YouTube, right? Krishna said that, value your friends. Krishna said that do this. Krishna said. So they'll just say some very, very mundane knowledge. No connection with Bhagavad Gita, right? So Krishna is not here to entertain us like they show in the TVs. Krishna will start speaking some wise words and he'll start speaking something which is not connected with this. What Krishna is saying this, okay, he's not saying all of that. He's saying anybody who doesn't worship me is actually a fool. He's saying the Vedic scholars who are very much attached to the Vedas without understanding the higher truth. The higher truth is Krishna consciousness. If they don't understand that they're getting attracted to the heavenly planets, they're fools. And why only human beings? Even the great demigods get deluded because of Krishna's illusory energy. And then this knowledge, like the milk, has to come untouched, without any dilution, as it is. Then it has effect. The medicine, if it has to have effect, we should not contaminate it with our concepts. We are already contaminated with different kinds of conceptions, different kinds of speculations. We have got our own version of Bhagavad-gītā. Actually, we keep repeating our Bhagavad-gītā, our Gita we have, isn't it? We start off, whenever we see somebody, will start, in life we should live like this. In life we should do this, you should not do this, you should do this, you should not do this. It doesn't stop, isn't it? That is contaminated already. So we should not put our contamination into Bhagavad-gītā. We should just simply repeat whatever authorities say. Tell you one simple example, okay? There was a father, okay, who was explaining to his kid. The kid was asking, small kid, he has no idea. Okay, he said, what is this? He said, it's a refrigerator. Okay. Okay, what does it do? It cools things. And somebody came, the uncle came and said, do you know what this is? It is called refrigerator. It cools things. This boy is very small kid. But still whatever he spoke is correct, yes or no? Why? Because he has simply repeated whatever his father said. Yes? This is what we should be doing. We may not be great scholars or read all the Vedic philosophies. We simply have to repeat the authority. We have to repeat what Krishna said and what the Acharyas have said. And this Guru Parampara is perfect because they have not put their conception into the explanations. They didn't try to speculate, because there are some fools who are writing a lot of commentaries and they're saying things like, you know what, Bhagavad-gītā is figurative. Kurukshetra is actually the body. Pandavas are the five senses. Krishna is the mind, and they keep going. And then Shakuni is something. And then Dhritarashtra is Gandhari is actually something. Right? And then the 100 Kauravas are something. It goes on. This is a crazy speculation. We should stop this. We should just repeat what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad-gītā, whatever Acharyas are saying. That's it. That is our work. Okay? That's why he's saying he can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. Fools can go on and write a lot of commentaries on Bhagavad-gītā to prove that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the funny thing. And likewise, foolish people can get attracted to that commentaries and be deviated by it. But the person who is firmly fixed in devotional service never gets deviated. Now, whatever amount of speculation that you do, that, okay, you know what? Krishna said, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Here, Aham in Sanskrit, I'll tell you the dictionary meaning. 1, 2, 3, 4. As per this dictionary meaning, if I construct, actually it means that it's not Krishna. You can go on like this and listen to some nonsense like that. But we should stop that. Because the Vedic literature here is saying, let's read the proper. Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva and all demigods. And then in the Atharva Veda, Gopala Upanishad, it said, Yo Brahmanam Vidati Purvam Yo Vai Vedams Cha Gopayati Sma Krishna. So this paper is very interesting because it has so many references to Upanishads. It's one of the best purports. So what does that mean? It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. And again, there is a quote from Narayana Upanishad which says, Ata Purusho ha vai Narayano kamayata praja srijeti. Then the Supreme Personality Narayana desired to create the living entities. Narayana Brahma Jayate, Narayana Prajapati Prajayate, Narayana Indro Jayate, Narayana Ashtai Vasavav Jayante, Narayana Ekadasha Rudra Jayante, Narayana Dvadashadityaha. From Narayana Brahma is born. From Narayana the patriarchs are also born. From Narayana Indra is born. From Narayana the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayana the 12 Adityas are born. And this Narayana is an expansion of Krishna. Krishna is the original Narayana. There are many Narayana expansions of Krishna, and he is the original source of Narayana, Adyo Narayana. So it goes on. So what do we understand? Okay, the entire Vedic literature, the Shastras are very clear. Okay, it's just because we have not read the Shastras, we are not getting the clarity. And we don't have to read all of them also. Krishna has simplified it for us in Bhagavad-gītā. Right? It said Bhagavad-gītā is the essence of all the Upanishads. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandanaha. Bhagavad-gītā is the essence of Upanishads. And in Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna is saying, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate. I am the source of all the material worlds and spiritual worlds. Then where is the question? Why are we having any kind of doubt? Right? Let us continue. Let us see this. It says, in the Vedas, it says, Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. The son of Devaki is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's very clear. Sometimes people see the mental speculation. See, it is like this. Okay, we have a choice to be intelligent or to be a fool. See, a fool by choice, right, is a very dangerous person because he continues to validate his foolishness by speculation. So for example, if I want to take a foolish position that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then I can just keep on speculating, like Vishnu. Vishnu is not really Vishnu. Vishnu means all pervasive. Narayana is not Narayana. Narayana is, you can go on doing this nonsense. There's no chance here because it says Brahmanya Devaki Putraha. Devaki Putra is so clear. Devaki Putra is Krishna. It's none other than Krishna. It says the Supreme Personality of God is, the Supreme Brahman is Devaki Putra. Narayana Upanishad is clear. And it says in the Maha Upanishad that in the beginning of the creation, there was only Supreme Personality of God, Narayana. There was no Brahma, no Shiva. What to talk about the other devatas? Out of delusion, we consider ordinary demigods who are much lower in rank, equal to Krishna. Here we're talking about Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who are the primary deities of the universe. They are also not there at the beginning of the creation. There was no heaven, there was no earth, there was no stars, there was no sun, there was nothing. That's what the Upanishad Vakya. And it is said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of Supreme Lord. Right? So the Vedas are very clear. In the Moksha Dharma of Mahabharata, it is said, the patriarchs, Shiva and others are created by me. Although they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy. It seems that even Lord Shiva was created by Lord Krishna. And they do not know it. Sometimes they get deluded because of the illusory energy of Krishna and they think that they are the original creator. Okay? The Varaha Purana, it says, Narayana is the Supreme Personality of God. From him, Brahma was born. And from whom Shiva was born. Right? So this is from the Varaha Purana. So therefore, the point is, we have to understand from the authority. Authority means Guru Parampara. Guru Parampara means like a transparent via media. No speculation. Then we'll get transcendental information. But if we go to an unauthorized parampara, which is not coming from Krishna, which is not mentioned in the scriptures, the problem is, it is not a transparent via media. You see, what happens is, just imagine a layer of glass, okay? If the layer of the glass is very clean, and if this glass is very clean and it's a very transparent kind of a medium, it's fine. You can keep stacking multiple layers of the glasses and you can still see through. But if one of the glasses is having slight problems, like, for example, if it is convex or concave, the whole picture starts changing. Am I right? Whatever is very small appears to be big. Whatever is very big appears to be small. It depends whether it's convex or concave, right? The glass. So if you're stacking this kind of glasses, which are not clear, which are distorting, the entire truth becomes distorted. That is a distorted parampara. That is an unauthorized parampara. We should stay away from such unauthorized Mayavada paramparas, because they confuse the absolute truth. Bhagavad-gītā makes it crystal clear. It's like milk. It's like straight, clear, simple. A pure-hearted, simple person who has no sinful reactions immediately accepts. Krishna says, intelligent person accepts it. That's it. A person who is a fool, who is sinful, who wants to continue to be sinful and foolish and suffer, will reject and get attracted to these unauthorized paramparas and hear to all their nonsense and concoctions, right? Trying to magnify smaller things, try to minimize the bigger things. We should not do this. We should have clarity. Okay, from whom we are hearing. Our authority is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. And he was a great Vedic scholar himself. He was a Sanskrit teacher, and there used to be debates that used to happen. Okay, there was one, I'll tell you one story, okay? We have Gaura Purnima coming up in March 14th, right? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a great scholar. He was called Nimai Pandita. He was a Sanskrit teacher. And in those days, there used to be some Digvijayi Pandit. Digvijayi Pandit means somebody who went all over India and he was never defeated. One day, when Digvijayi Pandit came in front of Lord Chaitanya, and he said, I would like to debate with the people of Navadvip. So they were very scared of him, to face him. Right? And then Lord Chaitanya came and said, I would like to debate with you. Said, you are such a small boy. How can you debate with me? Right? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay. Then they start the debate. And he says, can you write some slokas on Ganga? And this Digvijayi Pandit Keshava Kashmiri continues to write 100 slokas. 100 slokas then and there. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nimai Pandit says, can I analyze the defects of these slokas? Then he says, how is it possible that you can analyze? Because I have not given it to you in writing, right? I have told the 100 slokas. How do you remember them? He said, I am Shrutidara. If I hear it only once, I'll remember. I remember all the 100 verses. And he not only remembers the 100 verses, he starts to analyze each and every verse. What are the mistakes in it? And he starts to explain what are the problems in it. He continuously explains so many defects in it that, Keshav Kashmiri becomes shocked. He was completely defeated. He was never defeated by anybody. Then he goes back home and he starts crying. And he directly speaks to Saraswati Devi. He says, Mother, how did I get defeated today? How is it possible that a small boy defeated me? He said, the boy who defeated you is the Supreme Personality of God. He's my Lord. Okay, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you want to understand by philosophically how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you should read the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. There's a book called The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. In that, very detailed it is given. So all the kinds of refutations to all the kind of nonsensical arguments against Krishna, who are trying to prove that, no, Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everything is given in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Okay. So we can read that. So our authority is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. Our authority is this parampara. Right. So there have been many attempts in the past, trying to distort this vision. I'll tell you one story. Ramanujacharya, a very great Vaishnavacharya, who boldly preached this message to the entire world. Right? He preached it to the entire country at least. The Supreme Lord is Vishnu. Right? A lot of people had a lot of problem with that. Right? And there were so many opponents who used to come and discuss, debate. There are some stories I'll tell you, very interesting. So one day one opponent came and he said, he came on an elephant, he was riding and he was coming and he said, I want to challenge Ramanujacharya. Then there was a small boy there, okay, his name was Parashara Bhatta. He said, if you want to defeat Ramanujacharya, first defeat me. Then this scholar laughed. Do you know how scholarly I am? No, I can tell everything. I know the Brahma Sutras. I'm so big Sanskrit Pandit from Kashi and all. Right? And he says, okay. And he says, he takes a fistful of sand and says, tell me, what is there in my fist? How much of sand is there in my fist? He says, he takes, how much sand is there in my fist? How much sand is there in my fist? The scholar becomes very confused. What should I say? What number should I say? It's difficult for me to guess. How much sand is there? How can you say? How many particles are there? He says, I don't know the answer. He says, I have a fistful of sand in my hand. You cannot defeat me. What will you defeat? Acharya. Right? So like this, there are so many stories. But there was one great scholar, the so-called scholar, you can't say, the so-called scholar. He came to the temple, Srirangam temple, and then Parashara Bhatta, he grew up, okay, he was a great Acharya at that point of time. And then this scholar, he came and everybody was like, respecting him and said, this is such a great, he's a Sanskrit scholar, he's written so many commentaries, he's so perfect, he knows so many Vedas, wow. But Parashara Bhatta was not giving any attention to him, and he was giving attention to an illiterate devotee who every day used to come and pray to the Lord. Then the disciples were confused. Guruji, how is it possible? You are not giving any respect to that scholar. He's so good. Right? And he says, you see, he is a scholarly fool. I'll prove it to you. And then he calls him and says, okay, Paratattva Namakim. Can you tell me what is the name of the absolute truth? He asks in front of the Lord, in front of the deity. And then the scholar is thinking and says, absolute truth. See, it's not so easy to determine what is the absolute truth. It is not possible that you ask me one question and I answer you that in a sentence. It's a very big topic. I have to philosophically explain, blah, 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 he starts saying. Then Parashara Bhatta looks at his disciples. This is what he is. And then he calls an illiterate devotee and says, Paratattva Namakim, who is absolute truth? Then that illiterate devotee immediately says, how dare you ask the question? In front of you is the deity, the Supreme Lord, and you are asking me this question, who is the Supreme Lord? Don't you have faith? Have you not properly read the scriptures? Don't you have realization? Here is the Supreme Absolute Truth, and in front of him you are asking, who is the Absolute Truth? Right? Then he looked at his disciples and said, that is why I said, this illiterate devotee is better than that scholarly fool. Right? So this is the thing. We have to understand it properly, philosophically. Okay? And let us continue the purport. Lord Krishna is the source of all the generations. He is the most efficient cause of everything. Everyone is born of me. I am the original source of all. Everything is under me. No one is above me. How many times Krishna should say the same thing? Is one sloka not enough? Repeatedly he is saying the same thing. Matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. He said that in 7th chapter. 7th and 10th. Every chapter he repeats it multiple times. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. And we can understand it only from a bona fide spiritual master. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master, with references from the Vedic literature, engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. Even that Krishna said. Krishna says, a person who thinks that an ordinary man is a fool. Right? So, Parambhavam ajananto mamabhuta maheshwaram. Right? They don't know the meaning of, they don't understand. And because there's some people who say Krishna was a person, he was born and he died, right? They don't understand the tattva, they don't understand who is Krishna. They have no idea who is Krishna. So a Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. And he should strictly avoid unauthorized commentaries and interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. We should very strictly avoid reading this kind of literatures, which is called Mayavada. We should very strictly avoid the association of these paramparas also, Mayavad paramparas. Because, see, already we are born in illusion, isn't it? By birth itself, we are born in illusion. That's what Krishna is saying, that by birth a living entity is an illusion. He is put into moha. We don't want to increase our moha or illusion. We want to decrease it. We want to come to a clarity. What is my position? What is the Supreme Lord's position? And how can I serve him? Anything which disturbs this vision, we must strictly avoid. Otherwise, we'll be lost. Okay? This is the shloka. Okay, this is the beginning. Okay, this shloka, and then it continues, and Krishna continues to say in the next 3 verses. The first thing he says, why he is the Supreme Lord. The next shloka he says, how his pure devotees worship him, and as a result of his pure devotees worshipping him, what does we give to him? What does he give to them? How he reciprocates with them. And in the 4th shloka, he gives how he exactly liberates them. What is the reciprocation? 3rd shloka. And how he liberates them is the 4th shloka. Okay, so therefore, we have to stick to the transcendental literature, Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, which is beyond the 3 modes of material nature. And then, therefore, we can stay in Krishna consciousness without any deviation. Okay. Otherwise, it's very easy to get lost. There's so many deviant kind of interpretations. There are some people like who are yogis who say, okay, they write Krishna, Bhagavad-gītā, yogi will write, impersonalist will write, karmi will write. They'll put their own things into Bhagavad-gītā. By reading such kind of commentaries, we completely get lost. Okay. We don't want to get lost. Pranashyati. We don't want to be like the lost Arjuna, right? We want to be Arjuna with clarity. So we want to become like Arjuna. After hearing the shlokas, Arjuna's position is like, I understand that you are Parabrahman. He gives a beautiful realization. We want to be that. We want to become confused like Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra, like them, or like the confused Arjuna, right? So that's the shloka devotees. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. If anybody has any questions or comments, yeah, please ask, or you can please say. Or yes, Hare Krishna. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare
For
Krishna.
giving a divine talk for us in the early morning.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
really, we are blessed to have these classes. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Welcome, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So can I
Hare
ask?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Pranam.
Can I ask you questions? Okay. I'll ask a couple of questions. Okay. Let's see. I said that there is the creation is divided into parts. The material world is, what is the fraction of the material world in the entire creation? Can anybody say?
1/4 and 3/4.
1/4
1/4.
and 3/4. Correct. Okay, that's nice. And then, as per the Maha Upanishad, it was said that before the creation and after the creation, who is not present before the creation and after the creation? As per the Maha Upanishad verse that was quoted here. So, who is not there before the creation and after the creation? Okay. The right answer is no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven, no earth, no stars, and no sun. That is the correct answer. So they all are present only during the creation, not before and after. Okay,
Okay.
right. And okay, and then I told about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's story that he defeated one scholar. What's the name of the scholar? Can anybody say?
Keshav Kashmiri.
Keshav Kashmiri. Right. Jai. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.